Happy schedule release week, you guys. We have one last event in the NFL news cycle before we go completely dark just months before the season. This must be how Aaron Rodgers felt. Today, we have a very special guest joining us to do some NBA playoff talk, of course, NFL topics in the offseason, and the new Pope. Guys, did you know the new Pope is from Chicago? I'm sure you have not seen that on social media anywhere. Everyone is making the joke that the Pope got chosen faster than Shador. Of course he did, you guys. The Pope's father is easier to deal with. From Wondery, I'm Agar, and this is The Offensive Line. Welcome to The Offensive Line, you guys. We're here to make some picks, talk some shit, and hopefully make you some money. Coming up in a little bit, we have a special guest joining us, comedian Megan Gailey. She's a frequent member of the show. But first, we have a lot to get into. Starting with, there is a new Pope, you guys. My mom is very excited about it. We're a very Catholic family, and this was like Super Bowl level type stuff around our household. So it's Pope Leo the 14th. In case you guys didn't see, he is from Chicago. He's an American Pope, which is very big deal. Very big. And there was an insane crossover, we'll get into that later, amongst Chicago sports fans and Pope fans, aka Catholics. It was hilarious. I've never seen social media the way it was, the level it was at on Pope Inauguration Day. It was hilarious. Okay, so that brings up a couple questions I have, because Chicagoans, being a Chicagoan now myself, I've lived there for 5 years. Did it feel different last week in Chicago after the papal announcement? I think it did. I felt a very interesting aura, one would say hope, in Chicago. And not just because they had a great offseason. It was they held their chests higher a little bit more. You know, held your head higher, held your chest out. Because now we could claim a Pope. And I did. If you guys saw the tweet, I know you're going to think I'm going to bring up the tweet. I'll bring it up later in the show. But it was one of my favorite tweets maybe ever that I've ever tweeted out. And it had something to do with Chicago sports fans and the Pope. Now, another question that I get asked a lot now, am I worried that the Pope is going to bless the Bears? Because he is a Chicago sports fan. We saw the White Sox picture. He's not a Cubs fan, guys. I know that was thrown around there a little bit. That was a speculation. But he is. It is confirmed by his brother that he is a White Sox fan. Am I worried about the blessing of the Bears? Look, guys, we could have God himself come down from the heavens and bless the Bears. It would not help, okay? Their quarterback would still be on the ground half the season. Would not work for the franchise. So no, I'm not worried, not concerned with the Pope. The Pope's a man. They can still err, okay? This is a big thing I learned in Catholic school. Just because he is the Pope does not mean he is God. He can still make human error. And one of those is being a Bears fan. Was this the Bears' only hope for resurrecting their franchise? Probably. If that's what it takes, then congratulations, you have the Pope for the next however many years. Your franchise still sucks. Okay. In 24 hours following the announcement, the Bears saw, this is hilarious to me, 2 times more Super Bowl bets placed on them than any other team. Did it happen when they revamped their O-line? No. Did it happen when they drafted Caleb Williams? No. Did it happen when they drafted Justin Fields? No. But you get a Pope in there? Oh man, this changes the game. Okay, we got a Pope now. We're going to the Super Bowl, you guys. just the level of not thinking this through is what is hilarious to me, because they've made actual changes to their roster, to their coaching staff, and that didn't work to place a bet on them to win the Super Bowl. But having a Pope, and we say that faith is lost in America these days. Nope. I just love it. Oh, one more thing on the Pope before we move on. Someone said, and this is probably my favorite thing to come out of this whole thing. So he's from Chicago. He's a Midwesterner. Someone said he's putting the Ope in Pope. Guys. But I will say it made for amazing content. It was some of the best content on social media for the 3 days after the announcement of the new Pope, since he was drafted by the Cardinals. It was great, guys. It was the best time on social media. Okay, so Pope Francis served as Pope for 12 years, and I saw a lot during that time. And I would like to share some experiences of things that he didn't get to see, because that's a long time to be a Pope, and there were several things that did not happen. Starting with Cowboys Super Bowl, did not happen. He didn't get to experience that in his papal years. The Jets playoff appearance also didn't happen. GTA 6, just missed that one, my guy. Just missed it by that much. Browns going on a 5-game win streak. That's happened 11 times in each of the last 4 seasons. And losing season by Mike Tomlin, obviously we knew that was going to be on the sheet here, because that just hasn't happened. Me hitting a parlay on something I said was a lock. This one hits a little too close to home, okay? Because I may have said every parlay is a lock, beside the point. The Dolphins winning a playoff game. I don't think the past 3 popes have experienced that, but beside the point. And Rodgers winning another Super Bowl. Again, hit a little too close to home. Only time will tell if Pope Leo gets to experience one of these things. You know, popes used to have miracles happen to them. I'm sorry, if any one of these things happened, they become a saint immediately. That's a miracle in and of itself. A playoff win, Dolphins playoff win, Saint Leo. Refer to me as Saint Leo now, okay? It's a process to get canonized as saint too. You need miracles. Of Catholics out there, you need miracles. That's a miracle. Miracle number 1. Oh my gosh, we'd all become saints at that point. All right, moving on, you guys. The Jags seem willing to let Travis Hunter try and play 2 ways. He's even top 3 in odds for offensive and defensive rookie of the year. This is just amazing that we're here talking about this in this day and age. It begs the question, how do we score Travis Hunter in fantasy football? Was this anybody else's concern? It's a huge concern of mine. How are we going to, is this going to be like a Shohei Ohtani situation where he's off the board in fantasy football leagues or fantasy baseball leagues? Because that's just too much. You're just doing too much good on both sides of the ball. We can't have that. It's unfair at this point. It could be that kind of situation. However, this also might limit his potential at being wide receiver 1. Are we limiting targets? Because the workload in the NFL, very different than college. We've seen this happen, maybe never, okay? And they said this to him. They said it's a totally different world. Look at how many snaps you took last year in college is not the same. Okay, this is not Colorado. That we actually make it to the postseason here. This is not gonna work for us. In my fantasy league, this was an article I read where Hunter's classified as wide receiver, but can score points for tackles, interceptions, and pass defenses as well. Last year, wide receiver 40 in PPR leagues, which was ironically George Pickens, who we'll talk about more, averaged about 12 fantasy points per game. The 60th ranked cornerback, who was my one and only Jair. Don't ask me questions about Jair yet, you guys. Okay, I know what you know. I've seen the tweets. I've seen the speculation. Just make a decision, Green Bay. Anyway, we can get on a little tangent there. But he was the 60th ranked cornerback. He averaged 8 points per game. So just a little math there. I did pass middle school math. That's 20 points per game on average. Do you know how many wide receivers averaged 20 points per game last season? 1. And it was Jamar Chase. So this alone sets the man up for one hell of a year for Travis Hunter in the fantasy world. However, will that happen? That's TBD, because we don't know what limit that'll put on him on one side of the ball or the other. Will it limit targets? Will he be wide receiver 2, wide receiver 3? We don't know. Someone said it's a reach to go for him in the 2nd round. Someone said they're going for him in the 3rd round. I don't know. It's a weird fantasy ruling, and I would like to see what you guys think about that. Also, this begs the question, 2-way players, are they that obscure? Do we not have that many 2-way players in the NFL? And I'm going to share some things with you guys because we have quite a few of them. Okay, Travis Hunter's not the first, and he's not the only one. There are a lot of guys that play multiple roles in the NFL, starting with A.J. Brown. He plays wide receiver. He also leads a book club every game for the team. So what about that? Let's give some appreciation where appreciation is due. The Cowboys offensive line will have to protect Dak Prescott from opposing defenses and from George Pickens. 2-way player. I hope Jamar Chase is ready to play cornerback. It's not like the Bengals can afford to pay one. 2-way player. Bryce Young is both quarterback and could probably be a jockey. Kentucky Derby. How do we know that wasn't Bryce Young? 2-way player. Will Levis was every single meme in last year's NFL meme roll. Okay, my camera roll, 50% Will Levis. He also, in case you didn't know, was an NFL starting quarterback. 2-way player. You're telling me these guys out there aren't doing exactly what Travis Hunter's doing? Welcome to the NFL, boys and girls. This is the big time, okay? If you're not a multi-role athlete, get out. All right, stay tuned, guys, because when we come back, Megan Gailey and I get to the bottom of what some NFL stars actually are trying to say versus what they did say. Stay right here on the offensive line. All right, guys, guys, welcome back to the Offensive Line. Joining us now, she's the host of Co-Captains on Whistle Sports and a comedian who's currently on tour, actually. So thank you for stepping away to do this. Once again, welcome back, Megan Gailey. Megan, thanks for hopping back on. I know we had you on a while. It's been a while.
It feels like just yesterday.
It really does. It really does. But we have to talk. There's not much going on right now. However, schedule release is happening. And if you guys remember the last time Megan was on, she's a big Indiana fan, which we'll get into the Pacers later, but big Colts fan as well. Thoughts on your Colts going to Berlin? They're playing the Falcons.
Yes.
The international games being released is cool to see because we need to plan. We need to plan. So what are your thoughts on this Berlin game?
You say nothing's going on. I shot out of bed like I was being raised from the dead this morning. The Colts are going to Berlin, and I am 8 months pregnant.
Yes.
So by the time this game happens, I will have a 4-month-old.
Wow.
Now, I can't leave him at home, I don't think. I think
Okay.
I would have to bring him. And so I texted my husband, can I bring the baby to Berlin to see the Falcons and Colts play? I did not ask my husband to go. I know he does not want to go to Berlin to do this. I'm not asking anyone in my family. Once I asked my whole family to go to London to see eventually the Jags beat the Colts. And my dad was like, if you had made me spend $20,000 to watch the Jags beat the Colts, I would have disowned you. So I'm just like, I'll go with our 4-month-old. And I asked my husband that, and his only response was WTF, hell no. And then I told him the baby said he wanted to go because he doesn't know.
Right.
And then he said, why don't you take him to Jacksonville first?
That's a good point.
He wants his first game to be a divisional rival road game. And I'm
so
like,
he wants him to suffer, obviously. Okay.
Yeah, they only lose in Jacksonville. I'm like, we don't know what they can do in Berlin.
Right.
And like a baby in a little...
Get cultured. This is a great way to bring him into the world. Yeah.
4 months old, get him in a little Colts baby lederhosen, a little baby milk mug.
The content, Megan, would go viral. I think for that alone was a reason enough to bring the baby.
So NFL, I know that you are always looking for female fans. No greater female fan here. Female mom and mom fan. I'll bring my baby anywhere. If you pay for me, and guess what? Babies fly free until they're 2. So you don't even, Goodell, you're saving money. You're getting a 2-fer. My babies are so cute. I already have a son. I'll send you a picture. Adorable. Can turn it on. Not thirsty for the spotlight, but can turn it on. I think this one, 4 months old. 4 months old, they're starting to hold their head up. They have hair. His baby acne will be cleared up.
Oh, yeah. It's basically selling itself. This honestly is a great idea. You're selling me on this pitch so much. I'm about to send you, Megan. I'll pay for you guys to go down there. You tell me how the game is.
Please pay for me and my baby to go to Germany.
If I had those funds, I would do that just for the sheer enjoyment of it. Have we seen Benny babies at NFL games? Like I just was thinking of that. You don't see many little like babies. Like you'll see little kids, right?
You should go to a Colts game.
Oh, really?
Colts games are all babies because everyone in Indiana has 17 kids. And so they can't leave them at home. My son is now 3. I brought when he was 1.5, and I was like, oh my God, is this like crazy to bring a 1.5-year-old to an NFL game? And then I got there and I was like, oh, it's a daycare here. Like there were kids everywhere.
Wow.
They do the Simba hold up there because there's so many kids. They've got the little headphones with the Colts logo on them. My son, who's 3, has been to 2 Colts games and a Rams game. He went to a Rams game in a suite.
Unbelievable.
At SoFi. I'm like, what the hell? He's living large. So you do see babies. I think the Colts have like a breastfeeding room.
Do they? Well, there's a joke there probably. I won't go there. But it is very interesting that because these kids in about 18 years are going to need therapy after watching Daniel Jones and Anthony Richardson play.
No.
Subjecting them to absolute torture.
My son only knows Anthony Richardson. He has not been introduced to the book of Daniel.
Pain of Daniel. It's
No,
the book
and
of Daniel.
so he is 3. We showed him Little Giants, and it is now his favorite movie. We watch it all the time. And then from school, they called last week and they were like, so he tackled 4 kids in one day. And he's never gotten in trouble at school. I know, he's never gotten in trouble. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. The day that his dad is doing lineman drills with him, he then goes to school and tackles 4 kids.
Hey, but did he have good form? That's what I want to know. I mean,
So-
this could be his future.
Yeah, so as a mom to a boy, I'm having to teach him, you have to consent to playing football with you. You can't just assume that
the other
other
kids
kids
wanna
are playing football with
Right.
you if they've never seen Little Giants.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh man, I love it. Hey, just a little miscommunication there. That's all that is. Which is actually a great segue into our segment here, Megan, because we're going to talk all about miscommunication. There's a lot being said in the NFL in this day and age, and a lot gets on Twitter because, man, social media has changed this for everyone, and I absolutely love it. They were just talking about this with the whole NBA thing and Jason Tatum, which we'll get into later, but it's so different now. And the Mavs pick it. There's a lot of drama in the NBA, but it's so different now in the NBA because things that players said and or did is on Twitter almost instantaneously, and we get reaction right away. So we have a couple NFL quotes that happened this week and past weeks, just kind of everything that's led up to today that we're going to dissect a little bit because there have been some wild quotes. And I did a segment before on the show where we call it, this is what they said versus what they meant. So I'm going to read a quote to you, Megan, about either player, coach, GM, whatever, said this. And then I'm going to say what I think they actually meant. And then we'll dissect the quote a little bit more in depth. And you can give your take on what you think they actually meant as well. Okay. Are you ready?
Yes.
Starting with George Pickens, the Cowboys traded a 3rd-round pick for Pickens and some change. Pickens was excited about teaming up with CeeDee Lamb, saying you won't be able to double everybody. That was a direct quote. What he meant to say was, either George or I will be wide open downfield. So if we're not getting the ball, that is a Dak Prescott choking once again issue there. That is not a me issue. That's a them issue. What are your thoughts on this, George Pickens?
Yeah, I think he's trying to say French fries on a sandwich is stupid. And I'm really excited to go to Dallas. And I know CeeDee Lamb does not seem like he likes to share, but maybe we're going to be friends, please. CeeDee, I'll never look at your cell phone.
Right, exactly. See, and that's what you need in wide receivers is someone that it just says it how it is, no drama, no diva, and that is George Pickens to a T, guys. This is gonna be a great wide receiver room. It's got to be a better teaming up partnership than DK though. That was my thought for Pittsburgh because a 3rd seems insane, but we all know Pickens has off the field drama. He's got a little bit of a personality thing going on,
which
maybe.
is perfect for Dallas.
Perfect for Dallas. Jerry's gonna love that.
Oh
Jerry
my
loves having issues in the locker room. Clearly.
Get a camera on CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens and like Micah Parsons ASAP. Because I don't even think Micah is a diva, but he just gets dragged into it because he's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's like, because I love Dallas Cowboys cheerleader show. I think it's like one of the best shows. Yeah. And I'm like, if you have cameras down there already, can you just like turn them a little bit and get us in that wide receivers room?
I love that idea. We can keep the same name and everything. Dallas cheerleaders and just talk about the team. I love it. Okay. Also in regards to Pickens, Dan Orlovsky, one of the best, said that Pickens trade squarely put the Cowboys as a playoff contending football team this coming season. What I think he meant to say was, how do you guys know it's the offseason? That's because people are speculating that Dallas is a playoff contending team. We do this every freaking year. Every person in their mind says, oh, Dak is back. If he stays healthy though, and look at the moves that Dallas made this offseason. Look at the O-line they drafted. No, absolutely not. Week 5, it's out the window. So yeah, I think this is absolutely, I love Dano. Think it's a great take. But I think we say this every year, and I think it's going to be gone in a couple weeks. What are your thoughts?
Yeah. Yeah, I think what he was really saying was, I heard Jerry Jones has a really nice yacht, and my July is wide open. And
hey, I got kids. I need a vacation. Yep.
It's like, it's expensive to travel with this many kids. And so I'd love to go to Jerry World, get on the yacht. I will say until they are eliminated from playoff contention, that the Cowboys are playoff contenders.
Yes, I love it. I love it. That's a great take. That I'm going to say they're playoff contenders until the day that they aren't, which is what happens every single year usually.
What happens.
But it's more so doing it from a yacht. So yeah,
yes, and we watch it and we go, really, really good analysis. That's true. Yeah. It's true. It's true.
It's true. It is 100% true. I love it. Okay, let's transition a little bit into Shador talk because it's been 5 minutes now, so we have to bring that back around. After the draft, Shador told, and this is my favorite thing because this happened at a high school, and he's encouraging the younger generation. Good for him. However, let's not lie to the younger generation because he said, and I quote, "I'm trying to bring Cleveland, of course, a Super Bowl." Love the little of course in there as if it wasn't obvious that that's the direction we were going in. What I think he meant to say was, well, first I have to make it on the team. First I have to make the roster and beat out Dylan Gabriel for the quarterback 3 spot. If I do that, then maybe at some point I'll think about bringing the team on my dad's private jet to go watch a Super Bowl somewhere. That's about as close as you're going to get, my guy. I don't know. That's my take on that. What do you think of Shador's confidence here in a Cleveland Super Bowl?
He's like, remember that one time that they had a Super Bowl outside in New York? What if they had a Super Bowl in Cleveland? Now, the Browns aren't in it, but Cleveland, you can get hotel rooms for pretty affordable. It's right by the lake. It could host a really incredible Super Bowl. The Browns might not be in it, but the city of Cleveland gets to participate.
And he did use the word Cleveland. He didn't say the Browns.
He did not say the Browns. So I actually think I think he said what he meant in this one. And he maybe was hoping high school students did not know geography that the Browns were in Cleveland.
Right. Absolutely. That's a great point. He's really expecting too much from these high school kids these days.
Yeah. And like, you gotta shoot. You do have to shoot for the stars. Like, it's like, I'm hoping to be in the Sports Illustrated bikini issue after I have my second giant child. Now, is it going to happen? We don't know, but I am hoping. That's my plan.
Hey, you do that, and then your son will become a Hall of Fame O-line guy. Like, that's it's going to happen. Now he's tackling kids in school, so it's going to happen. I can see it happening. No, I think you're right. I think you're very on point with that. Shador's just... he's shooting for the stars, you know? Moving on from Shador, let's talk Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh, and this was shocking to me because you don't really hear much about Jim in the offseason unless he's cheating and or stealing signs. But this one, he apparently gets up every morning at 3:30, Megan, if you didn't know. You probably do as well, but you have an excuse because you're pregnant.
I have to go pee.
Last I checked. Right, exactly. He is not pregnant. But he does set some lofty goals for himself apparently at 3:30 in the morning. Harbaugh said, and I quote, "I just woke up the other day and said, I got to get Justin Herbert in the Hall of Fame." What I think he meant was, I couldn't sleep last night, so I had myself a warm glass of milk out of my football cup because he eats, sleeps, and breathes football. And he got to thinking that maybe Greg Roman and running the ball 500 times a game isn't going to get Justin Herbert in the Hall of Fame. Just maybe. Maybe that's not the game plan. That's probably an astute observation. I don't know why it had to come at 3:30 in the morning, but that's where Jim is these days. So thoughts on that?
We're so fixated on how much people sleep. And honestly, Jim, like, you had a health scare. You need to sleep more. Like, if I'm his cardiologist, I'm like, 3:30 is not where I need to, the cardiologist, like, I need you to get it to the sideline. I need you to be upright for this.
I forgot about that scare when he went into the medical tent.
I'm like, are you setting an alarm? If my husband set an alarm for 3:30 in the morning every day, I don't care who you are. Divorce.
You'd not be married anymore.
Divorce. And I am getting up 7 times a night, and it's annoying my husband. I'm making him a child. He's making crazy. Justin Herbert could get into like the Vidal Sassoon Hall of Fame today. So
let's rethink this, Jim. Prioritize the health here a little bit more.
Sleep. These men need to sleep. You're not proving anything. Go to sleep.
No. Go to sleep. It is very interesting how in America, if we say, oh, I got like 4 hours of sleep last night, but I was productive, I got work done.
Boo.
We'd be like, oh, good.
Boo.
Good for you.
No.
We need to prioritize sleep here, people. They do it in Europe. Yeah.
What time does he go to bed?
Yeah, that's
right
a great
after
point.
Wheel of Fortune?
You know what? I was going to say, he strikes me as like an 8 p.m. bedtime.
Yeah.
Watches his little Jeopardy Wheel of Fortune.
And then
has a normal meal and then goes to bed. I could see that.
All right. I guess that's 7.5 hours of sleep. But,
That's still
his cardiologist is
wrong.
not happy when he saw
No.
this.
No, absolutely not. Okay, Mason Graham, let's do another draft pick. The Browns' first round draft pick, Mason Graham, was caught throwing up on day 2 of minicamp. So what he did say, and I quote, was like a throw up, like a throw up noise. I won't make you relive that. Hopefully you're not nauseous.
Oh, I am. I'm throwing up.
Oh, great. Perfect. Let's talk about someone throwing up. That's a great idea. What he meant to say was, wouldn't you be throwing up too if you're on the Browns? That's the only thing I can think of. This man, people then were speculating, oh, they drafted the wrong guy. Could have Travis Hunter. Calm down, okay? Have you ever been to NFL minicamp? We would die. Megan. I would straight up die. I'd pass away.
Oh my gosh, I went to tennis minicamp and I had eaten Hardee's before, and then we got there and like, you have to run a mile right now. And I was in 7th grade. I was in the best shape of my life. I ralphed it everywhere, and Hardee's is delicious. So
yeah, serious question though, did that ruin your Hardee's experience, or do you still eat it?
Oh no, I'll go back.
Okay.
No.
That's the worst, is when it's like a meal that you.
I know. Once you're pregnant, you can't do that because you puke everything, and then you're like, well, I have to eat. Yeah. What am I gonna do? I puked my breakfast yesterday. Ate the same thing this morning. Said yum yum. Put me in NFL minicamp.
Really, making this whole pregnancy thing not seem appealing to me.
It's absolute hell. And I'm like, I can go to NFL minicamp. You puke, you don't sleep. Yeah. You're sweating. Your pelvis feels like it's being ripped apart.
That's basically every day.
I'm on the Browns.
Yeah. Mason, get on Megan's level. That's what I wanted. That's what I want him to do. Live a day as a pregnant woman and then see how hard NFL minicamp is. He couldn't. Okay, another one. Kellen Moore, which we had a little discourse about Kellen Moore before the show. And one of my producers said he looks like Buzz from Home Alone, which now I will not be able to unsee that. Okay. I think that's pretty good comparison. So Kellen Moore, with his hands full now, because Derek Carr's retiring, if you guys haven't heard. The quarterback room now consists of Tyler Shuck, Spencer Rattler, and Jake Haener. What a atrociously awful quarterback room.
Who of who?
It's terrible. It's pretty bad, and that's saying a lot because I've seen the Browns. Okay, so and this plays into that. So Kellen Moore said, we're going to let all 3 of these guys roll. Of course he had to say that, because what else is he going to do? There's no QB1. There's not even a QB 50 in that QB room. But what he meant to say was, I know this looks bad, guys, but let's just not forget the Browns at one point started Deshaun Kaiser. So could be worse. It could be much, much worse out there. However, this is the lowest of the lows. And I've seen the Steelers quarterback room with Trubisky and Kenny Pickett and Mason Rudolph. This is a bad QB room. Just straight up bad.
Those names you've at least heard. I'm like,
you've at least heard.
Spencer Rattler, that sounds like a monster truck driver.
They do. We should compare just what we think these people would do if they weren't quarterbacks in the NFL.
And I'm a fan. I think he's saying, I'm going to let them roll right on out the door and hope that we can trade for someone who has started more than 3 quarters.
He's currently calling up Kirk Cousins. Like, these guys are the worst. The only reason I knew of Jake Haener last year, because he had those pictures in the offseason. Did you see those pictures?
No, but I'm looking them up now.
Look up Jake Haener pictures. They were like model, and he did it on purpose. But they were like in model poses, and I said at one point, it's giving interception, because that's what it looked like. He said in the picture, it was not good. But that's how we know his name. So you know what? Maybe he's QB1. Maybe Spencer Rattler's the quarterback of the future. He wasn't atrocious last year.
I thought,
and Tyler, we don't know what to expect from him.
I thought these photos were going to give me a flutter more than they did. They're making me.
Oh no, it's not good. It's not good pictures. Not great for him. But the whole Derek Carr retiring situation. I know he's injury prone. Everybody's like, oh, he had a great career. He had a great career. Yeah, sure, that's great. But as of recent, it's not been great. It's not, and we'll get into a lot more of that later. But okay, another one I want to bring up, because I feel like this is very pertinent to you, Megan. This week, I had a tweet about the Pope. We talked about the Pope at the beginning of the show. And I said, so this is a direct quote from me, Chicago produced a Pope before a quarterback who throws for 4,000 yards. Took me a minute. I was on the treadmill when news broke. My mom calls me. She goes, Pope, they're deciding. There's white smoke. You just get on your phone right away. I'm like, Mom, calm down. It's okay. I'm watching the news. And because my family is very Catholic, so she was very excited about it. So I'm on Twitter and I'm on the treadmill because I was working out and I'm trying to come up with a tweet because I was like, oh, this is great news. Like everybody's gonna be talking about it. The Pope was from Chicago.
Yes.
How hilarious is that? Our first American Pope. So I'm tweeting, and my original tweet was Chicago produced a Pope for a quarterback, and I was gonna say something negative about the quarterback, like before they could develop a quarterback or before blah blah blah. And then I was like, oh, they don't have a 4,000-yard quarterback. Everybody knows that they don't have a 4,000-yard quarterback. So then I tweeted it out 2 minutes before. Somebody else, and shout out to, I think his name was Charlie. I don't want to get his name wrong. I forgot what it was now. Anyway, he tweeted out something like that. And so I wanted, and people then of course said they were stealing between the two of us and all this stuff. And that has to happen because there are creative people on Twitter all the time. Like people take other people's jokes all the time. I did not do that. This was a 100% original joke. But do you get any of that in when you're writing or when you're doing?
I have more had jokes repeated. I have had many. Because I'm insane. And so it's like, mine is usually original thought. I tweet wise, yes, I'm sure there's been ones that have been like similar, but no, I actually have them taken a lot more than I have ever taken. I remember I was like watching a TV show and I saw a female comedian do a joke of mine word for word that I had already done on television years before. So that's the thing you got to have. And that could absolutely be parallel thought when it's word for word and you've already done it on TV. You're like, I see you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you know what?
Yeah. What do you
Thanks for getting my words back out there. You know,
I was going to say, what do you do in that situation?
You do nothing. Like, you just talk about it on a podcast 3 years later.
Yeah.
That you remember.
Yeah. I gave Colin a shout out and I was like, you know, it was a great mind to think like I said, everybody knew the 4,000-yard quarterback situation. It was worded very differently. We both were worded very differently.
It really doesn't.
And I was not even on Twitter. Like I was sitting composing a tweet for at least 5 minutes.
Yeah,
so
it honestly doesn't bother me when it happens to me because it is what my job is. I'm a TV writer and a stand-up comedian. Right. When people do it to my husband, no, because my husband is has tons of fire. People will bring up, they'll be like, oh my God, did you see this tweet? I'm like, yeah, that was my husband's. And so people do it to my husband and I get in the comments and I'm like, that's my husband. Or I'll be like, you need to credit CJ Toledano. I go hard. I'm like, I get much angrier on his behalf than on my behalf.
Yeah. And I could see it because that's what my I didn't think much of it. I obviously wasn't stealing it, so people can think what they want. But my family was like, "Oh, people need to know it's your tweet too." You came up with that on your own. I'm like, people know. But if you do it for a living, people know.
You know what's really annoying? The most annoying is when it's two people. You and Colin, you are both civilians out here having a fun time talking about the Pope. Right. No harm done. When a company does it, puts it on, and then it's like, the thing is, people are like, credit me, and I'm always like, can I just have a salad? Can you just pay? Can you just Venmo me $20? Like, you're just like, I just want some payment if you're going to use, and sometimes they'll crop your name out of it. Like, so it's not even a stolen. It's like, no, you're actually using my thing. I really just want some money.
We're just people here at the end of the day. And there are meme accounts that do that all the time.
And I will go, people will be like, oh my God, do you follow so-and-so? And I'm like, they're a thief. You know, I do get, because I'm like, they're preying on people like me. And it's just because times are tough and my bank account's down, you know, like.
Well, it's funny. It is people and we don't get things on Twitter the way that meme accounts do. You get maybe $2 for a tweet that goes viral, that kind of thing. And I don't have that set up for the creator stuff, but it is very interesting to see how people are so, they're just so big on who is the original,
who was the first,
that, you know. And I think it does come from the meme accounts because they steal so easily and so quickly, and that's just not what we do here, guys. Meg and I keep it real.
Yes.
That's
originals.
We are originals. Okay, one last one. Bill and Jordan, we have to talk about.
Of course.
This is probably my favorite off-season joke.
I love them.
But it came out recently that it was in People magazine. Someone told People magazine that when it comes to Bill and Jordan, a source came out recently, close to Bill apparently, saying that they told People magazine they're really into each other. He's totally hypnotized by her and completely under her spell. What I think he meant to say was, this woman has this man by the balls and will not let go, and it's the ickiest, grossest thing I've ever seen for one of the best coaches out there in the world. Like, that's just gross to see.
What they meant to say is the female anatomy is magical.
That is a very clean way of saying that.
That's not what I usually say, but I know this is a family show. And they said hypnotized, under her spell.
Right. We would use different words.
They're saying she is a witch and her vagina has put a curse on him. And I am saying magical.
It's true. It's exactly what I thought of. Like, are we shocked? Has anybody seen her? She's gorgeous. And we're wondering why Bill
It was Miss Maine. She was competing at Miss Maine this weekend. He was there. Yes. He was there with her dad.
And she didn't win.
Of course not.
She came in third.
And it's like...
So I asked my producer at the beginning of the show, because he's big into pageants. Shout out to Matt. Not big into pageants, but I said, is it hard to win Miss Maine?
Can't be.
And he was like, it's not that hard, though. It's not Miss America.
It's not Miss California. It's not Miss Texas. I don't think of Maine. I don't think Maine has that many people. I know it's big. I know they got a lot of seals, and like lobster rolls, but like it can't be. I do, in her defense, though, have to imagine there was a bias against her amongst the judges.
Oh, 100%. 100%. In Maine, it's all Boston fans. They're all Patriots fans. There's a definite bias against her. Like, we are turning Bill into this. We're not going to vote for you.
But if the first two become injured / unable to compete / not alive, she's Miss Maine.
Right. And Bill has been known to keep things does not cheat at all.
So let's see if everything will be on if their boobs deflate. If Miss Maine's boobs are no longer
this is Miss Congeniality 4, baby.
She's just like, and
I love. Like one of those inflatable balloons. Yeah, I love it.
She's letting out all the...
Who knows what'll happen.
All the silicone backstage. I love them. I hope they never break up. I'm glad it's not my aging father. But they really are... Whenever a new news story comes, I'm like, I needed this. It's because I'm like, I don't care about UNC football. Couldn't even put it on my radar to care. This is not my money. This is not my elderly father. I don't know this lady. And they seem both crazy for each other in a way that's not healthy. And all I want to do is sit and watch it. And like, we need cameras up on them too.
Yeah, 100%. They are not, but it's like a toxic relationship, but it's not, because everybody thinks that she's helping him so much and he's not toxic. I don't know. But did you see there was another story that came out that she forced her way into that. So the Dunkin' Super Bowl commercial, if you guys remember it, with everybody that was from Boston, like everybody with the Boston accent. It had Ben Affleck and Bill, obviously, and Tom. And anyway, she was in the background of it. And I did not remember this until this article came out. So I had to rethink the commercial again. And she was standing there just in the background. I don't think she even had a line or anything, but she just was there. Mm-hmm. So apparently it came out that she forced her way into that commercial. And now, knowing everything that we know, I totally could see that happening.
And like, you hear that and you're like, that's crazy. And then I'm also like, I think that's what I would do. She does do stuff that I'm like, she is 24.
Yeah. She's in it. She's all in it.
A 24-year-old cheerleader. You think she's not going to get in a commercial?
Yeah, that's a good point.
She woke up that day going, I'm being in this commercial.
She is all in. All right, speaking of commercials, because the same ones get played over and over again in the NBA playoffs, it feels like. And yes, guys, I have been watching the NBA playoffs. We have to talk about your Pacers a little bit because they're running the table here. That got me thinking, what would a Game 7 series look like for the NFL? I mean, you'd be on your fifth-string quarterback. In the Browns' case, that'd be great. We'd finally get to Shador. But it would be so many injuries, Megan. I don't think it would be sustainable in any. What would that look like?
I mean, it would honestly look a lot like these NBA playoffs. Like,
Tatum,
that's a great point.
Tatum out. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Steph Curry, gone.
Yeah.
Donovan Mitchell, we'll see. Like, you really, it is the survival of and it's not even fittest, because it's like, you can't train your ACL or Achilles to not like snap out of nowhere. But it would be terrifying. And I'm shocked the NFL hasn't been like,
Yeah.
I can
think of the money they make off of it.
I contend the first round of the NBA playoffs should be 5 games. And I know it used to be 5 and then they went up to 7. And it's like, we don't need that. It's really, it's too much. And you're seeing the repercussions of that because guys are getting hurt, which is not what we want.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't want, I want Tatum in there. I want, like, even as a Pacers fan, it's like, I don't want everyone being like, oh, well, they didn't earn this because Darius Garland didn't play. It's like, okay, well, get Darius Garland in there then.
Exactly. You want the best of the best. That's what we said with the Chiefs and Eagles, too. You want the best of the best so that when they win, you know that they are legit and there's no asterisk.
I think about the Lions last year, and it was they're going to win. And then it was like,
they would have run
cannot
the table.
Overcome that amount of, and like, that is not, I don't know, it's not karma. It's something in the air. It's something in the air where you're just like, oh my gosh, everyone keeps getting hurt. And it makes me sad. Even guys I don't like, I don't want to see them hurt, because I know.
Yeah, because if it's like career, it could have career implications for them.
A Dame. Now we're talking into next season. And then also my husband plays a lot of pickup basketball. Went and played his rec league game last night. He plays 3 days a week. I go, that's more than Kawhi. So he is playing a lot. And as a wife and mother, I'm like, if you tear your ACL while we have 2 children, I'm going to move you out of the home. You're going to be.
It's rebuild year. Rebuild year.
And like, you're not even getting paid. You're actually paying. You're paying to play. And I'm like looking at Tatum. I'm like, oh my gosh, if this happens, if my husband's aging Achilles decides to have a bad day, I'm making dinner every night for the next 6 months.
Yeah, that's a great point. That is a great point. This is real life people. That's why we see them as like fantasy players or just like NBA players or no. This is.
I see them as caregivers to their children, and I'm like, they can't do bedtime.
Exactly. One more quick question, because this was big on social media recently. Peyton Manning, and I would love your take on this. The legend. He's always pops up at Denver Nuggets games, but we never see him back at a Pacers game. What are your thoughts on that? I don't know if you saw that recently. Somebody commented.
I see it every single time. It is one of the most upsetting things to me in my life. It drives me insane. I don't know. I don't know why he because I think of me as we're the first wife. They're the second wife. Yeah. So I hate that. And I like Denver. It's like a lovely city. Right. But when I see him.
There's no co-parenting
When
going
I see
on
him
here.
with his second wife, I go, that disgusting. You know, I'm livid. And I'm like, Pacers games are so fun. You're going to tell me your son isn't going to like Tyrese Halliburton? There's no way. And like Peyton is in Indy. He has a children's hospital there. Peyton, come home. What are you doing with this? It's so.
That's the quote right there. Peyton, come home. What are you doing with it?
It upset my husband. Whenever my husband like sees it, he's like,
go to a place.
He tries to change the channel. I'm like, I already saw that. Yeah. I see that head shape. I don't even need to see the front. I see the back of Peyton's top of his head, and I go, I know that's Peyton. I know he's sitting courtside.
There are people he could be blocking at a Pacers game from watching. You know, do yourself a service and go to a Pacers game.
We miss you.
Well, thank you so much, Megan, for joining us. I appreciate you taking the time. Your pregnant self, I so appreciate it. I know that's not always easy. So this far along too. I cannot wait to see did you find out the gender? Are you finding out the gender?
It's another boy. Yes.
It is boy. Okay.
I made my husband a 3-on-3 team. So
love it. I can't wait to see your little boy at the Berlin game. It's going to be great.
Thank you.
It's gonna be a fun time.
Me too.
The camera will probably be on you the whole time because not many people bring their son to a Berlin game. So they're 4-month-old. I love it. Thanks so much for joining us again. You can catch her on Co-Captains and on her tour. Woo! Thank you so much, Megan. You're the best.
Thank you.
All right, guys, coming up, what level of excitement is appropriate for the NFL schedule release and other mid-May topics in the NFL? Stay right here on The Offensive Line. Guys, welcome back to the offensive line. The NFL schedule release is tonight. I know it's kind of trickled. We've got the international games. We always get a couple games in there to keep us excited. And one of those games is Cowboys-Eagles. That is the first game of the season. We get Eagles-Cowboys. Guys, let me just say, Lions-Eagles was right there. It was right there. Commanders-Eagles, right there. If there's ever been a situation where it seems like Dallas is running the table on just America and we're falling for it, this is it, guys. This is it. Cowboys get day one, game one, first NFL game of the season. We are subjected to the Dallas Cowboys. Not only that, but Dallas also gets the number 1 overall pick in the draft lottery. Unbelievable. Dallas is just running the table. They had a 1.8% chance. This should be my no offense on this episode. They had a 1.8% chance. They just traded away probably one of the worst trades in NBA history, traded away one of their top guys, and they somehow land the number 1 overall pick. They somehow get Cooper Flagg. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me right now? And on top of that, we have to watch them in the first game of the season. Dallas is just controlling all of us like little puppets, and we let them. It's a problem. It is a problem. Also, we had a Monday Night Football matchup release, Packers-Eagles. Guys, over-under on how many times they're going to tush-push on us. Green Bay, this is the problem. This is what I was trying to tell you guys at the start of the season. Don't make a situation worse when you brought up the tush-push and you were the ones leading that charge. They are going to tush-push us right out of the playoffs. Why would you do that? I can't wait for week 10, guys. It's going to be fun. This is why schedule release it's a stressful time. It's exciting because it gives us something to look forward to. This is stress. I go down the list and I'm like, oh, that's a win. That's a loss. That's a loss. That's going to be a problem. This is going to happen in that game. Am I a negative person sometimes? Yes, I can be. Schedule release day is one of those days, okay? So help me in the comments. Tell me how great the Packers are going to be because our schedule scares me sometimes. Okay, let's do a quick exercise. I am more excited about the schedule release than certain things currently happening. Guys, this is our last big NFL day. This is the last time we can get on Twitter and be like, yeah, this is going to be dominated by NFL news. Everybody else get off. We're not going to get that for another 2 months, and it's stressing me out. So here are some things I'm more excited about. So here are some things that I am less excited about than schedule release day. I'm going to see if you guys agree. So am I more excited for schedule release than I am for the entire NHL playoffs? Probably. What about the entire NBA playoffs? Oof. That's a tough one. No, I am. Yes, absolutely. What about the entire NBA and NHL playoffs combined, though, Annie? You might be asking. They're dominating our airwaves right now. Everybody's talking about NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, and it's just schedule. Yes. Give me the schedule release right now, immediately. Injected into my veins. All right, now it gets a little difficult. Are you more excited for the schedule release or having a beer and a hot dog at a baseball game? Oof. Peak America. Peak America. I'm not talking about the inning and every inning having a hot dog and a beer. That's too much. That's too much peak America. Okay, give me one. That is, but I'm more excited for the schedule release. Okay, Mission Impossible 8, schedule release. I love the Mission Impossible movies. I love them. I watch them all. I just actually started rewatching them because they're fun, like in the background. I leave them on because I've seen them all a million times. But the schedule release is peak NFL this time of the year, okay? Mission Impossible could come out in June or July. I wouldn't care. All right, season finale of Survivor. This is a big one if you know me because I love Survivor. I watch it every week. It is my favorite thing ever. I am really excited about this. This is a close one. This might be even. I'm pretty excited about both of those. These are the tough ones, guys. Being on a boat on a lake in Michigan. Being in Minnesota, Michigan, anywhere in the Midwest where there's lakes are like the important part of your summer. The boat days are a gift from God, and they are few and far between, let me tell you, because it doesn't happen often in this weather. I have to say a boat day. I feel like it's my moral civic duty to say a boat day. Plus there's more of those than schedule release day. Schedule release is fine. We're gonna hear about the schedule all year. But boat days, and the last one, and this is very niche. This is a very Midwest thing. The first paper plate you get full of food on 4th of July weekend. There's corn on the cob. There's some sort of burger. There's potato chips, and it's probably coming off a lake and or pool, something you did with friends. You got a beer in one hand or a seltzer or something, and that paper plate is just the pinnacle of happiness, okay? So I'm going to say yes. Those two went out. The season finale of Survivor's a tie. Other than that, schedule release tops everything in all. Schedule release week is great, and I'm so excited, you guys. All right. Lastly, it's time for No Offense. I know that felt like a rant. We're going to rant again. This one's a little bit this was a little off the book here. We're going a little out of the box because I posted a picture, as you guys saw this past week. I was on vacation. I posted a picture wearing my Garmin. You can see it here. I just bought a new Garmin a couple months ago, and it's changed my life. Not to be overdramatic or anything. It tells me my steps. It tells me my calories. It tells me how well I slept. I don't even need friends anymore. It tells me basically how good I'm doing in life or how not good I'm doing. It tells me when to move. It tells me when to relax. I don't even need to live anymore. Just Garmin, tell me what to do and I do it. It's like AI, but on steroids. I love it. So I have my Garmin, and I was with a friend of mine the other day, and she said, yeah, but Apple Watch is so much better. I'm sorry, what? I didn't realize we were comparing the two, but we can. And let me tell you guys, this is my no offense, but Garmin is so much better than Apple Watch. First off, the interface, incredibly better. For some reason, round watches, it just seems more like a watch to me. The Apple Watch is square. And I know you can do push-ups easier with it. I've heard that argument before. This does it. Just slide it up your wrist a little bit. Garmin's are so superior. I know Apple can do a lot of the same thing that a Garmin can do with everything I just listed off, the stats, the sleeping. Garmin, the interface is amazing. The shape, it's light. It feels lighter than the Apple Watch. I'm not, like, I don't go around, like everybody with an Apple Watch goes around and talks about their Apple Watch. Garmin owners probably do the same thing, hence why I'm talking about it on my show right now. Beside the point, guys, Garmin is the superior watch. Argue with a wall, okay? I don't claim to be an expert on watches. I'm no Shador, but I'm telling you right now, Garmin's the winner. All right, you guys, that's it for this week on The Offensive Line. Be sure to follow us wherever you get your podcasts. You can watch our full podcast episodes on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And as always, I will see you guys next week. Des didn't catch it.